Good afternoon, scrapbooking friends. Barbara here from Scrapbooking with Barbara, and I wanted to show you my little 8x8 album that I was able to put together during our pop-up crop that happened on Friday night. This is I think this was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. It was a gift album. It was a gift with purchase album that you could get from Creative Memories. I'm pretty sure it was. And I was just sort of holding on to it to find the best use for it, and I think I have, especially for the color green it is. And you'll see why I'm saying that in just a moment. But what I wanted to share with you are these directions that I don't remember where I got them from, but they are easy directions for pre-cutting 12 by 12 inch paper to use to decorate the 12 pages, 24 sides that you get with a 8x8 refill pack. You can make the complete 8x8 album using any theme that you want, depending on what kind of papers you use. You can always get 8x8 refill pages for these albums. The actual album covers go on sale, I believe it's in March, April, and then September, October. So basically what you're doing here is you are taking each 12 by 12 inch piece of designer paper. You are making a 4-inch cut down with a strip, and then you're cutting 3 8 by 4 inch pieces here, and then this longer strip you're going to cut so that you have a 4 by 4 inch square. So it's 1, 2, 3, basically 4 cuts for each of your 12 by 12 papers. And honestly, you'll see I did not use any of the 4 by 4 that I cut, just because of what I was choosing to do with each page. But if you're using double-sided paper, obviously you're getting a mix and match of a lot of different styles of the designer paper. And these directions tell you to use 8. I don't know whether I counted wrong, but I ended up with some leftovers. But the directions actually say select 8 12 by 12 papers, and then you would then cut them using this little diagram. So it's really very, very simple to do. And one of the things that helped me get through this album in 3 hours was that I had pre-cut all of the designer paper ready to decorate. And I also had assembled some of the embellishments I was going to use. So for those of you who are members of Koshan Croppers, this direction sheet is found in the file section of that group. And to join Koshan Croppers, all you need to do is join us for one of our virtual crops. Once you've become a virtual crop goer, you become a member of Koshan Croppers. All right, so to get started, I'll give you a little sneak peek at the album. So here's my title page, and you can see because of the color of this album and because we are having a holiday photo shoot with the Grinch, it was actually, it coordinates very, very nicely. And I used an assortment of papers from past years. I don't actually believe, I may have used some of the plaids from this year's holiday collection. But you can see I just used one of the 8 by 4s to decorate this page, a little bit of border punch embellishment. And here's the Grinch right here. See how green he is? So cute. And then using a pair of the 8 by 4s, I oriented them on the page so that they, you know, just gave the little bit of pop that I needed for both the photograph and my Grinch lyrics. I decided to run off the Grinch lyrics, the lyrics to the original Grinch tune. I also, just as sort of a fun thing, after I got the pictures from my photographer friend Pam, I posted each of the verses of the Grinch song with one of the photos on my Facebook page, just to give everybody a little giggle. And these pictures that I actually uploaded from the internet, they're from the original Grinch cartoon. There didn't seem to be any copyrights involved, so I, ahead of time, went online and got a number of different photos from the original cartoon, and I sized them and ran them off on my home computer just to make them embellishments and to kind of just add something, because I thought that the traditional holiday embellishments probably wouldn't work quite as well just because of the topic. And so here we go again with more Grinch pictures, using the 4x8s in a little bit of a different way for this double page layout. And here's a technique I wanted to highlight because I did it for the first time, and I think it's really, really great, especially if you have collected some washi tape and you don't quite know what to do with it. I ended up with a bunch of Christmas washi tape. I have some Halloween and maybe, you know, another color here or there, but because of some of the leftovers from our card making kits, as well as a bunch of Christmas washi tape spools that I ended up getting, I don't know, a year or two ago, I had all this on hand, and I saw this really great idea for making using your punches and your makers to punch out shapes using washi tape decorations. And so it's really, really easy to do this. So what I did was I cut out a background piece of paper, and depending on the washi tape you use, you may not even see the background, but because some of mine was transparent, I chose to use red because I knew that was going to show through. But what you do is, I don't know if you can see that, let's use it this way. What you do is you figure out the punch that you're going to use, and I knew I was going to do a couple of circles, and then I was going to use this Stampin' Up! Ornament punch, and you figure out, like, you know, how much of the paper you need to cover with the washi tape, and you just put strips down. And as you can see, I just put the strips down, laid them all out, and then you just take your punch and you figure out just where you want it. So I want it to be like right there, and then you punch it out and you get these really cool embellishments. So you could do this for any time of year, depending on which makers and punches you have in your stash. I've discovered the idea of using washi tape in a whole new way just because of this little technique. And here I just used ornaments to put a little bit of pizzazz on the page of the Grinch trying to strangle my daughter. So he was a little scary. That mask, I have to say, sort of weirded us all out. The good part was that we knew that it was my friend Pam's husband that was dressed up as the Grinch. He was underneath the costume. So even though my daughter looks incredibly scared, it was reassuring to know it was just Paul underneath the mask. So here's a few more pages, again using the 8x4s. You could flip them. You could have, you know, coordinating ones. They don't have to match. I just thought the matching kind of worked well with what I was doing here, trying to keep it fairly simple and trying to keep the focus on the Grinch pictures. Couple more. Here I used the tree punch that we have to just add a little bit of greenery, the fact that we had moved into the wooded area. This is an older border punch from a few years back, but adding the little red berries kind of makes it pop on the plaid background. Here are a little embellishments. I used our new reindeer punch and the sleigh punch, and then we have a gift border maker punch. I believe it was an exclusive punch, but a lot of you have it. I just cut some of the gifts out of that border strip and put them in the sleigh. So I put a little bit of a foam square behind one of the reindeer just to give it a little bit of depth. And here's the Grinch thinks he has us, but then you'll see very shortly we end up with the Grinch. Again, this is the poinsettia border punch, which goes really nicely, brings out the red in the Grinch's jacket. And here's the gift punch. I chose to punch out a little bit of the gifts in the 2 colors that were featured on the page. I mean, this is something that I don't always think about, but when you have different border punches, you should look at them and, you know, think about, oh, I can cut this out and it can just be a gift like I used for the sleigh. Or, you know, even with the poinsettias, you probably could cut out a couple of those flowers. You don't have to always use it as a 12-inch strip. And in this case, I really, you know, just wanted to kind of highlight and cover up a little bit, highlight the photos and cover up the blank spot. And here's the last page. Merry Grinchmas, says the Grinch, using the poinsettia punch to bring out the red and another piece of the plaid papers. So by doing a little bit of planning ahead, by pre-cutting the 12 by 12 designer papers and also looking online for those Grinch cartoon snippets, having all that stuff ready, it was really pretty fun to just put this together in 3 hours. It took me probably 2.5 hours to get everything laid out, and then I went back and added some of the borders that I just felt some of the pages were kind of plain and I wanted to add borders. And these ornaments I just added a moment ago because I wanted to play with that technique that I had just discovered. So I hope that you'll try making an 8x8 album. Like I said, the refill pages are always available online at the Creative Memories website. And you know, there'll be this later on this spring, you'll see the offer for picking up the cover sets at that point. And these are just great albums because they don't take a lot of time to put together. They're great to give as gifts. You can run off, you know, photos in the regular 4x6 format and they look great. So I hope you think about giving the 8x8 albums a try. It's a great project. It's a nice project to have a beginning and an end, and you feel like you have something really tangible to show for your efforts. So if you choose to do an 8x8 album, I hope you'll post it. Post some of the layouts from it. If you choose to do one of these fun little designs using washi tape, I hope you'll share with us what you chose to do. Have a really great rest of your weekend, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Take good care.